Hey, I'm Paul, and this is Lost Wheels 506. And today, on the 88 Thunderbird, I'm actually going to take apart the whole rear end. I want to drop the differential, get all the wheels off. If I can, I'll pull all the exhaust out, get that cleaned up, get real good access to the back end here. The reason is I want to take a look at this broken torque box and see what I need to do. I know there's probably quite a bit of body work to do here, but we'll see what happens. And while I'm at it, just for fun, one side of the car I'm going to use PB Blaster, and the other side I'm going to use Seafoam's Deep Creep, just to see what happens, if there is a difference, and see what the results are. Now, as you can see, I already have it on jacks. That was a pain in the butt, by the way. There's no real spot that's kind of nice and clean that I could use, and the ground is kind of rough. I ended up getting a bottle jack and lifting it up. The regular floor jack was kind of pulling the car around and making it unstable. Also, the gas tank is out. I'm going to show you how dirty and nasty that tank is. There's also a hole in it. The exhaust is kind of just hanging there by a thread. Anyway, let's take a look at the gas tank. I'll show you what's up with that. All right, here's the gas tank. As you can tell, I already kind of took it apart. I just wanted to see what the condition was inside. It's pretty nasty. This is the fuel pump and return. I took the sock off, or whatever that is, filter. I even tried to get it running just by plugging in the power, but there's no way. It's frozen solid. There's nothing I can do. This piece broke off when I was taking it out of the car, so there's really not much that I can do with this. Here's the fuel level gauge sending unit thingy. Again, this thing is awful. It's pretty stuck. It doesn't roll smoothly. And it's just falling apart. There's so much junk on it. So this is where it would pick up the gas. You can see it's quite nasty in there, but this actually looks clean compared to the other side. This is where, oh, if I can capture it, this is where the sending unit is. It too is pretty nasty. There's still a little bit of gas in there, but I can't get it out. There's too much rust on the bottom, and it's just choking up the pump. Also, when I was moving it around, I noticed that it was leaking from this spot here. There's a bit of a hole, kind of an indentation that it looks broken. Even the other side looks the same, so that one wasn't too far off either. And well, that's kind of what it looks like. Just generally nasty. I was hoping I could still reuse it, but that's what happens when they sit for a while. I'm going to start by taking off the wheel, obviously. It's the only way you can get to some of this stuff. I'm going to try and use this small impact driver, see if I can do it. If not, I'll have to get the big guns out. Oh, wow. I did spray it with some PB Blaster before I started working, and even a couple of days ago, just because I knew I was going to do this. That one's pretty bad. Ah, yes. Also not sure why, but this wheel doesn't turn. I'm assuming that it's probably something to do with the caliper, but we'll find out. I'll take that apart too. I'm actually just going to lay this under the car, mostly because I don't want to lose it. And to be honest, I just don't feel confident in the jack stands and the way it's positioned. And to be really honest, I'd rather scratch a mag than break a leg. I said mag, but wheel, whatever. Put the lug nuts back on so that way I don't lose them. This is going to be a while before I get back to it. Get some blaster in there. While I'm at it, might as well just spray everything else. Get that started. All right, let's loosen up the caliper. I got the right size here. Dang. Well, it's stuck on there pretty good. I tried some PB Blaster. I tried some the impact to try and take this off, but the little one doesn't do it. So I used the big gun, my air impact. While I was at it, I kind of loosened up some of the bolts that I could get access to. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier for me. I'm going to try a little bit of heat. I'm going to try and just pull the whole thing off if I can. I was just trying to take the caliper off before, but I might just go ahead and just take the whole bracket off and see what happens. Let's see if that did anything. Well, that seemed to help. I was honestly a little skeptical, but it's definitely spinning a lot easier than before. All right, that's good. I'm happy about that. It's definitely kind of rusty. And I feel like I'm rounding off the edges. I don't like that. All right, so again, change of plans. I'm still trying to take at least the main part of the caliper off, not just the bracket. So these were kind of hard to get to. They're kind of weird. Like I can't get a wrench in there because it's too tight. And I was kind of confused as to what I should do. So I just kind of decided, screw it. If I break something, I break something. I added some heat, some PB Blaster, and I already got the bottom one out here. I'm going to just go ahead and take the top one out. But what I had to do, because there's I don't know, it looks like a hex nut with not a washer, but you know when they're already integrated. I'm just going to do this. This one's almost out, but I had to clamp it just to be able to get in there. Hopefully taking this out allows me to get that bolt that I can't quite get to. I don't like using the open end. I don't like using the open end of the wrench when you're trying to undo a bolt that's tight. I find they just slip all the time. Man, this thing is rotten. So yeah, so you see this is the pin. I couldn't get the open end in here because it was so tight up against this part right here. Anyway, the only thing I could do was use vice grips. Oh, these pads are so tight in there. Whew. There we go. Well, I was told it was a limited slip or whatever the term is for this particular Ford setup, and that's what it looks like because both wheels are turning in the same direction. So you can see the wheel on the other side. I still haven't taken it off, but if I rotate it forward, it's hard to do with one hand. You can see that it's rotating in the same direction. That's kind of cool. I couldn't confirm that before because this bad boy was stuck. But let me try and just take this bracket off, and that way we get that all completely off. A little bit more heat and some PB Blaster a few times. I was able to get this one out. It's loose now. So I'm just going to take it out. That'll at least get the bracket out. I think this rotor is completely toast. There's a weird groove, and then there's this pretty big lip. It's not flat. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but anyways, it seems like it's going like that. You know what, maybe I'll remove this shield too. Well, that came off easier than I thought compared to everything else. All right, for now, I think that's it on this side. Just to show you, that's the rubber seal around the piston. It is blowed up. So I did spray PB Blaster on this one because that's what I had at the time, but I'll definitely be using the Deep Creep for the rest of the stuff. Well, this side doesn't look any better than the other side. Deep Creep, it smells different. I don't know why, but it smells like coconut or something similar to it. And this one's, I don't know, it's definitely foamier. It sticks for a minute and then it just seems to go liquidy. Wow. That certainly came off a lot easier. Well, either I knew what to do and it made it easier, or this side is actually easier. I'm not sure. But these are definitely coming out a lot nicer than the other side. Yeah, this side's a little bit easier to take off. I don't have as many problems. Top one's hard, but this one isn't. Seems to be coming out. I think I'm gonna have to use some heat on that one. Well, camera died on me, but I ended up taking the bracket off the caliper and the rotor. I'm gonna take the shield off, just like the other side. All right, not too bad here either. The next thing I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo the, I believe it's the sway bar. It goes across both sides. All right, I used the impact, the air impact, and I already got these bolts pretty much loose. The other side, it's completely out. I just went ahead and did that. It's pretty much the same. It's just these two bolts that hold it in place, and it should technically just fall. It was just a bit crooked, so I didn't want to come out. And that should be it. Whew. Boom, that's done. So while I was at it, I loosened a lot of these bolts here with the impact and some heat and some of the penetrating oil. And on this side I used the Deep Creep. I'm going to just try and see if I can take some of these things out. I have yet to take out the drive shaft just because it's a little bit hard to get in there. I'm hoping that once it comes down that I'll be able to get in there a little bit easier. I'm going to start by taking this one out first. I think it's just a little bit of a stabilizer. I'm not sure if that's going to come out easily. I'm just going to leave the nut there for a second and then just see if I can hammer on that. Or is there a clip holding that in there? Well, that little clip really isn't the main thing that holds it in there. I think it's just jammed inside the rubber and stuff like that. I used a punch to try and get it out. It should come out now. There we go. So you see that's the clip, but it's just holding it from rotating when you're tightening the nut. All right, that's free now. Hopefully this pops off over here or not. Let's get the pry bar in there. Does not want to cooperate. Let's try a little bit of heat. Although the rubber bushing might burn. Nah, I don't like that. Well, the other side is really driving me crazy, so I'm going to work on this side here, on the driver's side, and try and pull whatever I can out. So a lot of these bolts are rusted and they're quite difficult to get out, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm getting really frustrated right now, so I'm just trying to do something before I lose my patience. Again, I already loosened some of this stuff earlier, so hopefully it comes out without too much trouble. There we go. Okay, let's see, will it pop off over there? Oh man, this one came off so easy. What the heck? That's weird. Well, I say that, but now I can't move it because the body's in the way. There's always something. I think I'm supposed to remove these ones. I tried it on the other side, man, it was a pain in the butt. I really don't feel like doing that today. So that's just gonna stay there for now. This bracket that holds it up there, I mean, I would do maybe, if I was lucky, a quarter of a turn to get that bolt out, and then it would lock up. I would have to heat it. It was just a thing, and I was losing my mind. I know this should wiggle out. There's no pressure. There we go. Probably the easiest thing I took off, but it doesn't help that this thing is broken. Let's see if I can get that bolt out. Huh. Wow. There we go. Anyway, that's the control arm that was there. That's attached to the torque box that's kind of busted. All right, due to my frustration and just kind of not feeling like I'm doing anything right now, I'm going to take a break and kind of rethink this for tomorrow and see what I want to do at that point. This still needs to come out, so we'll see what happens. This bolt, which I took out here, which was part of that arm that was there, almost doesn't have any threads left. You see this part here it's got good threads, or at least usable threads, but then all the way down there's nothing left. It's all gone. And it's not, you know, I don't think it's supposed to be a solid piece. You can see that there's little lines. Maybe it shows up, I don't know. And then this part right next to the flange is thicker than the rest of it. So it's kind of all rusted away. But after almost a day's work, this is where I'm at. Got the passenger side rotor and caliper out, the driver's side caliper and rotor out, the sway bar, the driver's side coil, and then the arm that is pretty rotted out. I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I also have to think about like what my options are to try and repair this. This is why I wanted to get the differential out, is to try and get a good idea as to where I am in terms of the body. Anyway, tomorrow what I'll do is I'll grab a shot of that and you'll get to see what's happening with that. But for today, that's it. I'll come back tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. Don't know if I have another plan, but we're just gonna try whatever I can do. I think one of the first things for sure that I'm gonna try and do is get this exhaust out. It's just hanging there. I don't think it's really doing anything at this point. I know it's not connected to the engine, so there's no worries there. I did give it a quick try right there to see if the clamp would come off. I ended up having to cut it off, and even then I shattered 2 blades just because it's a bit of a tight spot. I do think that it might even be welded. I'm not sure, like tack welded or something and then clamped. I tried wiggling it and it just wouldn't come out. So pretty much I'm gonna Sawzall and just kind of get rid of it. I'm gonna try and keep it as intact as possible. It's just one of those things where I was trying to avoid spending money on, but I guess I'm gonna have to. I also went looking for my bigger air compressor to try and help out with the air impact. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but hopefully it will. This is what I was using before, but it's a little nailer. It's not really meant to be used with any kind of air tools, so there should be some kind of upgrade there. And as you can see, I'm using my generator to power all this stuff. So let's get to cutting this muffler out and see what happens. Looking further at the exhaust, it needed to be changed. See, there's a lot of stuff in there. These are heavy, and there's a lot of noise. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to save them just to do one less expense, but no, that's not gonna happen. Like everything, look at that. I mean, everything has a pile of rust in it. Oh well. Well, I was kind of in the motion of it, so I kind of just went and took that off. I don't know if it's showing up, but it is smoking. I got it so hot, and then it kept the heat just from being pulled out with the impact. That air compressor seems to be working. All right, so I just switched to the other side, and I want to just try and get this off, see what happens. I mean, the other side I had to heat and use the impact heat and use the impact several times, even spraying it with some, well, on the other side I'm using Deep Creep, and this side I'm going to use PB Blaster's Penetrant, and see how long it takes. Attempt number 2. Third attempt. Number 4. Yep, got her. Took 4 attempts, but I mean, this one's pretty bad. Kind of see its threads are a little worn out. Well, I got it out. I would have filmed it smoking hot, but these GoPro cameras just seem to be a problem these days. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, that one came out a lot easier than the first one. Not sure if like the heat permeated from the first section to the second section and then helped release it. But either way, it's out and I'm happy. It's one less thing hanging in the way. So just went ahead and loosened the bolts on the drive shaft. They're 12 points, not like a typical hex. I also used the Seafoam deep penetrant on this side and the blaster on the other side. Didn't really notice a difference. They both seem to work all right. Uh-oh, did I just screw myself? Well, note to self, rotate the drive shaft, because then you can't get your wrench out. Ah, there we go. Now will it just pop off? I don't know. Well, it's stuck on there pretty good, so I'm gonna leave it there for now, but definitely expect it to fall at some point. All right, like the other side, I'm trying to remove the arm that's on this side, but there is this coil that's attached to it, and it is a bit difficult to take this bolt out from the bottom here. I started loosening this up just to see if that would help. We'll see. I'm just about to pop out the bolt that's in there. It is under pressure, so hold on, I have a jack here. Maybe that'll help. There we go. So that jack definitely did help a little bit. There's not much holding this differential in. It's really just the main supports up here and then the strut on the other side. So hopefully, yes. Oh, the drive shaft just came off. That's pretty good. So this is the arm that I was talking about. I want to try and remove this just to get it out like the other side. Again, just to clean it up, gives me a better picture of what's going on back here. Well, I can't seem to pull the bolt out of this. I tried some heat, I tried some, you know, hammering, whatever. I just can't seem to get it out. I'm gonna try and see if rotating the differential might help or give me just a different access for it. So what I did in the meantime is I heated up the nuts on these parts here, these upper supports or upper arms. The other side is already done. I don't know if you can kind of see it right about there. I just have to take the bolt out of this one. I put some jack stands under there. Luckily I had them as a spare, otherwise it would kind of just fall and hang there. And once it's down there, I'm going to see if I can rotate it and get better access. There we go. I think I was wrong on that other piece, that bolt that was on the other side here. It may not have had threads, because this one only has like the last 1.25 inches or so of threads, and then it's all straight, there's nothing there. So maybe that's just the way it was, and I was wrong. It kind of looks that way. If I didn't mention it already, I also took this part out on the other side. Well, even with rotating this whole assembly and trying to get access to it, I still couldn't get it to slide out. I think what I'm going to have to do is just use penetrating oil and try and get that to come out. It's just too much of a pain right now, and I'm losing my patience again. I don't like finicky stuff. I just want things to work. Although I should understand by now, especially at my age, that's usually not what happens. All right, let's take a look at what we actually got out today. So we got the coil out on the passenger side, this little strut. I think, I don't know what it is, just a stabilizer bar, I guess, or a shock. Still looks like it has the Motorcraft gas shock sticker on there, which is surprising. We got this heavy guy, this rusted out muffler, and the output, and then this Y, the driver's side muffler, which is also just a heavy rusty weight, and also the little stabilizer shock and the output. So yeah, like I said, I'm calling it here for today. I'm running out of time and patience, and that's pretty much where I'm at. I was pretty close, just that one bolt holding me back from getting the differential completely out. Obviously there's all the little brake lines and things that need to be disconnected, but I was hoping to at least get the differential done, but I wasn't able to in the time that I had, so it'll have to wait till next time. I'm also still waiting just for the gaskets for the engine, but that seems like that's going to take forever and a day, so we'll see what happens. Oh, almost forgot. What's my opinion on PB Blaster versus Seafoam's penetrating oil? Honestly, I didn't notice any kind of difference. They both seem to do what they were supposed to do, and I really honestly could not tell the difference between one that was a deep creep or the Blaster, and it just did the job. That's all I can say. One wasn't superior than the other. The only difference that I did notice is really just in the way it comes out of the can. The deep creep seemed to have a more of a foamy type of application, and then after a few seconds it kind of just went back to its oily self. PB Blaster is similar. The foaming isn't quite the same, but again, I'm not sure how much of that makes a difference in the end. Personally, I'm just going to buy whatever's cheaper or on sale. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.